Salutations, virgins, and welcome. So, I gained knowledge and learned a little bit more about application stores and how they work from some big brained people, which is super based and very cool. Twitter banned me for 7 days, so fuck them on that. Kind of haha funny if you think about it. We'll just put that like X banned me, and we're gonna talk about app stores. Very based and very cool. Very heated topic because everyone has opinions on how it should be done. App signing and source, where the source of applications come from. Apparently, also, System 76 went super schizophrenic gay by saying they're going to comply with California. It's a lunatic law, by the way. Honestly, these people that are running in office are a pile of shit, and they suck, and they're gay, and nobody likes them. And I hope nobody continues to like them and thinks that they're gay. Asking for age verification at the operating system level is actual lunacy. There is actually zero reason that this should even be a thing. This shouldn't even be a thought. The fact that this has been a thought and it's made it this far kind of like makes me slightly angry, because there really isn't a good way of doing this, and there is no account for Linux, regardless of what people say. You can just download any Linux. I mean, Linux isn't an operating system. Minecraft YouTuber in office. Yeah, Minecraft YouTubers in office for real. The problem with it is, like, Linux doesn't have an account. Like, it's not like a traditional account. You can spin up a live distribution. You don't need to sign in with an account or make an account. How would you even do this with live distributions or any Linux distro that just allows you to create? Actually, think about the ones that let you create like no account, like no user account needed, like Tails or anything. I just don't see how that this is even going to be possible to enforce this on the developers. X, the Twitter app, yeah, Twitter the X app. BlackRock Palantir shareholder value meeting time for real. And so the funny thing is, like, I get my account banned for 7 days because the simple fact, I made a joke to another person in the comments telling them, I said, rip their arteries, like rip, R-I-P, like, because they were talking about how much like butter and meat they were eating. And I'm like, bless your liver. And then they thought that I meant maybe they assumed I was talking about ripping out their arteries, which is fucking retarded. You title X banned? Yeah, Twitter, not X. Don't get them confused. It might make you look sus, if not gay. Can you shut down one of the YouTube streams? Very confusing to have two YouTube chat live. How do I do that? You said it. What are you talking about? Jay. It says Twitter banned me, not X. You're the one that's saying X. What did I do again to make that do that thing? Oh, yes. I remember. Ooh. I'll do it next time. I can't shut it down now. I've already begun. But next time I will shut it down. There's a feature in the streaming service I use that allows me to do it both this and portrait. But yeah, I know I have two feeds. I know one's supposed to be portrait and one's supposed to be like for the doom scrollers, like the doom scrollies and the portraities people. So some things that I'm working on because I'm not a real developer. I'm not a real code person. I don't know how to code. Uh, yeah, I'll fix it. I'm retarded. I'm supposed to enact like an OBS plugin that allows me to stream to YouTube's. So YouTube has a new feature built into it, but it's gonna work. It's supposed to do portrait and like landscape mode, like both, but I'm retarded. So for Claude, I'm out of time because I'm not gonna pay for it anymore. I'm seeing if it's possible to make a Monero payment system for like Patreon, like where I'll have like a front end. The front end will pretty much take from what I've read how this worked, and like my idea is kind of being like projected. It's going to have the front end, and like people are going to subscribe to XYZ. They're going to take their Monero and send it to the person, and then after so many days, if it doesn't see that reoccurrence, it will shut the subscription. Very simple concept. Be very cool and kind of based, hopefully. So your favorite creator or GunTuber or whatever, they can avoid the ever looming of Patreon and the pile of shit it is. And then the second thing that I'm still trying to figure out how to get XMR. You could sell stuff for XMR. That would be the second option. Or you can swap. I mean, swapping stuff for like Monero is like very easy. That's like the easiest. Like swapping like other currencies. It doesn't matter if you KYC yourself through that currency because Monero's like the way Monero's privacy works out of the gate is very transparent on how it works. So like even your addresses aren't like really linkable. So even if cash would be the most private way. Doing it for a service would be the second most private way. But if you wanted to swap something like Litecoin, JLS, the way to get Monero was mining it with Goopux. You can mine it, but you're not going to get enough Monero where it's going to offset the cost. But if you want to actually get spendable, usable Monero, I'm not saying it's a bad option. It's just there's multiple ways you got to do it. So this is the other thing that I kind of started. It is if you run a business and you want to know which payment process to do, say you are spending tens of thousands of dollars on like payment system. This kind of breaks down the cost. So I just send cash like I do with Mullvad. Yeah, you can do that. There are people that will accept it. Like if you wanted some Monero right now, I would give you like a PO box. You would tell me the amount you want. You would send me the cash. I mean, this would be a trust thing. I mean, there's intermediaries you can get involved. They're called like you can get moderators involved where they would hold some of the funds so that you can't get burned, and you would send the cash. And until I receive the cash, you don't receive your funds. There's ways you can get around this. So, like, say your business does. Okay, cool. I'll check out. Yeah, you can mine Monero. It's just you're not going to see enough that would like maybe be enticing. I would say do a skill. If you have a skill, take that skill and sell it for Monero. Your second option would be to sell stuff that you have that you don't use anymore on like XMR Bazaar for Monero or people that you know, etc., etc. So, like, say you have your business does $500 a month. Your hourly rate you have to put in your time is like like say like the average of $20 an hour. Your average transaction size. Maybe it's like $15, so this does 33 transactions at $15 average. Coins you receive payments in, how often do you withdraw your wallet? Say you withdraw it like 10 times a month, and boom, now payments is saves you about $30 a month at $500 revenue. The true cost of monthly cost of now payments would be $2.50 or $30 per year. At $500, a BTC Pay server would be $33 or $400 a year. It'd be more expensive. There's pros and cons. No technical setup. My suggestion, Fed 12, not FPIMA, is maybe make a schedule on Discord when you go live. Yeah, that would be it. Drawing from Monero. I can't draw. That's true. The difficulty of getting Monero can vary in different countries. Some you have to go to Tor websites, but before that, ask people on the thread. Yes and no. Relatively speaking, you can get Monero. It doesn't matter if it's illegal in your country. You fundamentally are 90% of Tor websites are scams. Yeah, you can. I mean, you can just literally just use Havno. Like Havno works. RetroSwap works. Local Monero, like when it was around, was like very good. I've used it. But it comes down to being able to take skills and then exchange them for Monero. Monero. Like sell things you don't have, that you don't use. I mean, sell things you don't use for Monero. It becomes, again, a level of trust, I mean, et cetera, but then you can actually do how payment fees eat your actual profits. Say like your gross profit margin, say your profit margin, which is a good option actually between, say you get a 20% profit margin, that would be great. Now payments, your profit margin is 2% versus BTC Pay Managed, which is 33% of your profits. Best option at this margin would be Now Payments if you ran a website where you were accepting it. And then YBTC Payser gives your business zero chargebacks, private revenue data, Lightning Network, Monero support, no geographical blocks, free and open source, very base and super awesome. The annual difference between that BTC Pay and Now Servants, some websites and companies might see this as a value because then they could see. I want to get the analytics down even more granular. Are you self-hosting this website? Can you host it over ITB2Base? I'm not self-hosting it because that would be one of those things that would be a cost and more time. But because it's a simple HTML static site, I could host this on I2P as well, and I will once I get it completely. Like all the kinks out and everything, and I make it like very solid, I will see if it's possible. I will see about pushing it over to I2P. The thing is, I2P is an intranet, so it's not as like, let me go find it publicly accessible. I can barely use I2P thanks to inbound tunnels shitting themselves after a random period of time. I have no problem with using I2P now. I just waited, actually. Like your site popped up, normal, not Bob, like started working better, OpenBSD. Yeah, everything, the EFF pretty much runs everything now. Yeah, I'm pretty solid now. So those are two of like the vibey things that I'm kind of working on. It'd be kind of cool to see. Maybe some people use it. Maybe some people won't. I don't know. It's not really costing me anything at this moment, so it's not a huge deal. Maybe people in the future that are like looking to switch to a payment processor, like away from like a processor, like what do you call it? Like PayPal. I did have like what it would cost. Versus like PayPal as well, like if someone was like, hey, I'm going to use PayPal, or I'm using like PayPal, etc. Or if you are going to host it yourself, there is something called Flokinet, and this would be like kind of like their cost as well. Like if you were to run your own BTC Pay server, I used to run a Lightning node and a BTC Pay server. To get into that, there's a high complication of like running your own node and understanding liquidity. So they're explaining that to people is kind of like annoying as well, because they're like, well, what's the liquidity? Like why do you have to have all this liquidity and then channels, and you have to open channels with people? This is the problem with running your own Lightning node, but I think it's a more private way to do it, and it's like actually more base to do it. There are companies that will lend you liquidity for like a very small amount, or you can just kind of like purchase into it. Why can banks restrict you from doing things with your money in a free country? I mean, that's like a lot of that's just the banking industry. It's a really sad thing too, because like I think when it's your money, it shouldn't. I mean, you could kind of blame the Patriot Act somewhat, and like the war on terrorism to a certain degree, but it's really for just like financial control over your money. That is fundamental problem. This is why self-hosting kind of gets you away from that. Monero also gets you away from that. Bitcoin to a certain degree gets you away from that, but you have to run your own node. That is like going to be, that's the ultimate goal. You should buy a really inexpensive PC and run your own node. Pay the $15 a year that it costs to host it on your electricity bill or whatever, or $10 a year, whatever your electricity cost is, and run your own node. It is super, 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 super easy. There is no more complicated, super technical setup. You do not have to have access to it 24/7. You do not need to be connected to it all the time. It is one of the best things you can do is running a Monero node. There is there is zero reason why you shouldn't, unless it's a legal considerate, like a legal concern. But if it's a legal concern and you're on Facebook, I mean, you're on YouTube, don't know what to tell you. Like, it's if it's a legal concern, then your best option is to do a remote node. And the remote nodes can get very expensive because of storage. You can have someone manage it for you and pay them a fee if you want to do that, but that would be kind of silly. That because obviously they need to make a profit and they're not going to do it for free. And we can even look at the very inexpensive option. Thank you to my website, JK. Shameless plug. We can go to FlokiNet. Let's look. Oh, nice. ILO management, high-end powerful. So you would need to run a prune node. You need about 180 gigs of storage to run. I would say 180 is, you want always buffers, but if you need a good like full node, I think it's like over 200 gigs now, I believe. A full node, let's see, 200 gigs. So yeah, so 200 gigs is about $61 a month. If you look at like the cost, a full node, roughly depending on where you go, will cost you about $43. Yeah, you can get one probably like for like 500 gig, like 500 gig and $20 a month. I think that math is wrong. Unless, let's see. Later, Billy. And maybe there's some cheaper. Yeah, I don't know where they got that. I gotta always go in and check that math. But let's go to Run on Flux. Run on Flux is a really inexpensive storage. But they do make me a little nervous, so you could even go as far as what is it? Spore Stack? No, not Spore Stack. There's a VPS that I came across. A VPS I came across, and I think I found it. wonder if these fuckers are still around. Yeah. Low inbox, the best deals. Server host, February giveaway. Exclusive 35. Okay. AI fraud. I should have wrote something big happening. You just kind of should you run FreeBSD? Based FreeBSD mentioned. I would say whatever deal they give. Hosting guy, best VPS hosting. $30 gigs isn't a lot. The bad thing is a lot of these are affiliate links, and the ads are. Your VPN can spy. Ours can't. VPN. Yeah. Nice. They chance to win $1,000 in iPad Mini. Yeah, this seems interesting. But like, what does DigitalOcean cost? I haven't been to DigitalOcean in a minute. Oh my god, if I see AI powered everywhere. There we go. Just give me the pricing. No, just regular pricing. Okay. You probably could just get. Yeah. $50 for I think it's Spore Stack. KYC, no, they're pretty good. They're pretty like solid when it comes to Monero-based Monero. I know these people might not are pretty good. $30 gigs, 80 gigs, so $10 a month, not bad for 80 gigs. You need more storage, but self-hosted VPN. $134 months. So if you wanted 300 gigs, so you could get away with probably like 300 gigs for like $100 a month. If you're in a country that's illegal, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really the easiest way. Dan, bro, you were hanging out with my wife. You sound just like each other. It's because I'm funny. Torrent I2P availability based. Yeah, the allergies fucking hit. So, just the cost calculator though. Check it out. I want some feedback on it. I'm gonna do some other stuff. What's this? A mega list of cheap. Oh god. And like a Monero node doesn't need that much. Like allergies. Yeah. It's actually when weather shifts and like allergies hit. It's not fun. Payment for C-Box in Germany. So I would say like if it's a cost thing. I mean, obviously just use public nodes if you need to. Like if you need to use a public node, there's things that you can kind of do to mitigate correlation. You never want to keep connecting to the same public node. You want to make sure you do like a VPN so that there can be no correlation. You want to rotate your wallet. 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 You want to rotate your wallet That's just, I mean, it's just a reality of it. You gotta. There's gonna be. I've been running a node for so long that it's not. There's not really a reason for you not to, besides the fact that it might be illegal in your country. And I don't know, man. It's it's one of those things that I think people. Uh, I wish there was an easier way for people to just kind of be exposed to this, but maybe it's just not one of those things. I think people are just tech phobia. They're afraid. They're afraid to. They're afraid to do it. That's my theory. They're afraid to find out, fuck around and find out, kind of. Okay, there we go on that. But it's not hard. And again, you don't. Ooh, Cockbox. Let's see what their pricing is now. You don't need. You don't need this insane amount of. Um, okay, not bad. $60 a month for 240. That should be enough for like your own node. I know 60 sounds like crazy to people, but oh, nice. And you if you don't care about the initial syncing, you could definitely get away with 480 gigs, but 240. I mean, still like $60 for your own privacy when it comes to Monero and transactions, and you can it'll help other people. You can have other people connect to it. They would have to trust you, and they shouldn't. They should be doing it themselves. Yes, they're afraid of running something on their PC. What about running a node on? Yeah, that's all you need to. You don't need to run it on. That's what I run my. I run my node on a Raspberry Pi. You can get even these mini PCs. Let's look. Mentor. I'm not. And you can mine on them. You can mine on these mini PCs. These Ryzen PCs are great. Let's do Monero. If you wanna take one mini PC or Raspberry Pi and run your node on it, but if you want to go even more, and actually just running the official Monero wallet allows you to mine, and it allows you to run your own node. You can turn the official GUI Monero wallet into its own node, but that's besides the point. Um, it would take quite a while for it to pay off. But you can get these mini desktop AMD, yeah, mini PC AMD. Say they're like $800, $900. AMD, yes. What a, it takes not even a week. Run it on the newer Raspberry Pi. Like, get a new Raspberry Pi, the 5 with the highest RAM, and put it on SSD, and it will not take forever. At most, I'm on a Raspberry Pi 4 with the SSD, and it took a week. Less. Actually, it took only a couple days. It took less than a week. I thought it was going to take forever, and it didn't. Bitcoin node, that thing took forever. If I ever redo a Bitcoin node again, it will not be on it will be on the Raspberry Pi 5. So let's see. You can get no, or just use an old PC. Yeah, that too. Whatever works. Get your own node. Pis are nice because they don't require they have a lot of fluff killed out of them, and they're very easy to use. So you can get, but the point is, if you want to start mining, you can get these. You can get a stack of these. Just get a stack of these, and just mine on them. You're helping decentralize the network, and you're getting Monero. You can put them all together and just mine the fuck out of them. You could even, I would not say go into debt, but you can go into a slight debt. $319, I wouldn't do that. That's what you would need. Hell yeah. Ryzen 7, Monero mining calculator. Let's see what you need. So this does, a Threadripper would obviously be the best. Monero mining reward estimate. 148 days to solve one block. If you do a Threadripper, you're going to make $1 per day. That's not including the cost or anything. Okay. You're going to do 58 cents. So if you can get these cheap, say you get 10 of them, and this is like assuming that Monero's price is going to keep climbing as you go. This isn't one of those things like you're going to get rich overnight. But 40 cents a day, obviously it's going to take forever to pay off this. And you might hit a block and you might, I think the payout is like right now 0.6 or something like that. So we're going to times that by 365. It's $146 in Monero a year. You times that by like 5 machines. Like say you do, like you get 5. That's 730. Yeah, you're not, obviously, you're buying these that are like, if you can get like these, if you can get something with like a Ryzen 9 at like 700 a pop, you're cooking. You're cooking with gas. Return on investment in days, 1,000, by the way. Now, if you can solve one block in a year, every year, which is about 500 days to mine a Monero, one Monero. Annual revenue, will be $146. So you times that by 5, that's 730. Now, say Monero, by the time you're done doing all this, it would take 500 days. Monero mining hash rate tuning. You wanna make sure that picking efficient hardware. Let's see, what's the best? Like if you just buy a bunch of mini PCs. Oh my God, the Epics though. Threadripper Pro, as they offer higher core count and performance. That's funny. Damn. I guess like what's the best mini PC? You can mine Monero more efficiently with Goopbox. Yeah. Yeah, you would actually connect all these to a pool. You wouldn't do them by yourself. For mining Monero, a mini PC with a powerful CPU essentially. The misinformation feature AMD Max. Let's see what that costs. I mean, there's companies that do go into debt for this. They'll go into like mining debt, and then they'll just keep mining. You would be doing this mainly to secure the network. But you would also be doing this because if Monero's price, say you mine one Monero every like couple months, like say you get a full Monero every like 2 to 3 months. Damn, there's way too much. Ryzen 7, Ryzen, I don't know what the fuck that is. Elite mini series. Elite. You would you get more hash rate with Kupex. Yeah, because I think they're pool mining. That's it. You have to share more though. Solo mining, you're always going to make more because you get more of the profit, but it'll take exponentially longer. So it's really just a time. It's a thing versus time. Like if you have like all the hardware and like you're invested, I guess. So a Ryzen 7, Windows Pro. Let's see. If you how much is this? Oh, motherfucker, be out, be out of misin misinformed, be out. Damn it. Mini Swarm. Arduino Uno Q is cheaper than a Raspberry Pi if you want to mine one of those. I wouldn't mine on a Pi. That'd be just decentralizing network. It'd be kind of a waste. Um, let's see. People would be like afraid to do this because they don't know what they don't know what the future of Monero is. But if you have a good understanding of Monero and you think that it's going to go somewhere, I think you can. I think you could go take out. Obviously, don't do it if you're like in a massive amount of debt. And there's nothing that will say like what Monero's price is going to be. You should not solo mine if you own a supercomputer. That's retarded. It's the dumbest thing. You either have never mined before or you don't know what mining is. I mean, like that would be like saying there are people that have solo mined Bitcoin on those like it's very rare, but on those mini computers. You do not need to pool mine. Pool mining is just a more efficient and faster process because you are pooling mines together. You can definitely 110% solo mine and still be profitable. It depends your electricity costs, what you're mining, and also you don't have to mine Monero. You can mine other coins and convert them to Monero, where you're hitting bigger blocks and the mining is more favored to whatever hardware that you have. You don't need to own a supercomputer to mine Monero or solo mine for the because if that was true, then there would not be solo miners out there, and there definitely is. The more computing power that you get, the less you need to rely on pools. You don't need to rely on pools to mine. It's just smart if you're doing it as a hobby. I mined Bitcoin on 2 video cards back in the day. Yeah. Monero is very friendly to people that can solo mine. I wonder if you can still mine a block on solo mining. You just not the likelihood of you becoming profitable overnight or in general is just not a thing. The fuck. Mining is one of those, like, all the people that do mine, like, Red Panda Mining is, like, a really big YouTuber. Huge YouTuber in the mining space. And then there was some Son of a Tech. And they dumped thousands of dollars into mining. They were probably making, at one point, a ton of money, and then they're making I was making like $5 a day back in the good old days. Yeah, that could have been like life changing money, man. You should have kept doing it. And then there's Voscoin, but Voscoin is kind of a shell and super annoying. I used to watch a lot of mining tubers. They all became kind of like mining YouTubers became giant sponsorships. They're just like the Mr. Beast of crypto. There's people that still mine, Bitcoin. I mean, that's definitely a thing. You're just what's the word I'm looking for? You are now competing against giant companies, and I would never rely on it. I would never rely on it as a way to. I would never rely on it as a form of income. You would have to constantly. I can't even imagine. You have to constantly be thinking about the process. For my sister, regarding my computer specs, people recommended me to mine on the Nano pool in P2P pool. My computer had like 1,500 hash, which is really low for mining. You can still do it. Doesn't matter. Should I call? Should call it Epstein coin? Yeah. 2009 era. Oh, I mean, people were probably aware of Bitcoin for a long time. It's not surprised. Rich people know about stuff. It's just mining is like one of those things that like Monero's purpose of mining is help to secure the network. The profit, the fees. So there is a possibility if you say like you solo mine, and you sit there and you're solo mining, etc., etc. You fundamentally could do you could do one of two things. You can keep doing it and get probably like a decent amount of money doing it, and hope that the fee network, like the fees that you get collect from it, etc., and like mining the blocks and validating transactions, you could technically benefit from that when fees go up. The second option is you're just securing the network, and not only you're securing the network, you are earning a small amount. Now, obviously, pool mining is better because you're pooling more resources together. But if you have your own server farm, you don't need to fucking pool mine, and they don't need to be like super mega like sexy computers. Like, you can just kind of like, where is it? There's that one. There's that one guy that there's just one guy. He's like software or something. That like helps you like pull all your mines together, like your mining together. Let's see. Ooh. Put on the song Solo Mining Monero by Crypto Bear. I don't know who Crypto Bear is, but that sounds. It sounds terrible. It sounds terrible. Oh my god, that's a real thing. Yeah, I can't watch that. That's real. Unfortunately, real. I can only imagine that. Interesting. Solo mining Monero on a Raspberry Pi 5. Odds and profitability. Discount code Power Mining. The problem I don't like is these affiliate the affiliate nerds. Uh, let's see. I don't like the affiliate nerds. I think there's apparently going to be a Monero miner. Makes the network more secure for Solo. You can mine using Monero wallet. No need for additional software. Depending on your hash rate, it might take months before you find a block. They're often referred as this is often referred as a lottery. It's true. You have to pay a fee for the pool. You can only use third-party software to pool mine. You might take a small percentage of shares. Too many people mining on a single pool might lead to the pool having a 50% of the total hash rate, which is dangerous. Frequent payouts, you will see XMR recording how much you are participating in the pool of choice. You know, all things to consider. PTP pool, best of the Solo N pool. Decentralized, permissionless, Gary. There can be mined both on CPUs and GPUs, but the latter is much less efficient. What do I got? A Ryzen 7? So the best one is an AMD, some AMD. That's probably like super fucking expensive. Every hash rate fucks the bank, so I'm keeping it running. I'm a cyberpunk hero, solo mining Monero. You can compete in the mining in mining in the Monero. You can, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I think people should mine I think people should mine for the simple fact that they are decentralized in the network. That's it. $128 core processor, that's crazy. What about random WoW? Based WoW? How much does this thing cost? It's probably expensive. Trademark. Anytime you see a trademark, you know you fucking... And I do think I was posting the lyrics from the song. I think there is people that are maybe like scared to do some form of risk. If you had like truly like just like $5 to $6 grand sitting around, and you believe that Monero is like, again, not financial advice or anything or whatever YouTube is afraid. They fear people just giving any form of intellectual thought process into stuff like this. I would say if you have like a couple $1,000 just sitting around, just buy some mini PCs and fucking mine Monero. It's not gonna be like the worst investment. And I think my general thought on Monero is I think more people care about the principle of what Monero does versus like Bitcoin, where more Bitcoin maxis have always cared about price. Bitcoin is, well, most Bitcoin maxis only cared about price because they wanted to, debank themselves and get away from the centralized exchange system and the centralized bank. They wanted their own form of sovereignty, but they didn't really care about the privacy perspective later. And because they didn't care about the privacy perspective later, they're now just maxis. Put all your money in Monero just because it is based. It's based because it has functionality. Bitcoin's functionality is transparency, and that transparency leads to complications in terms of fungibility. With the transparency model, you have zero control over what people can and cannot see. And that is the problem. Now, there are people trying to make convoluted extra steps in order for it to work, like eCash, Lightning, Big Gay Retard, Mixer Pool coin, and it's kind of disheartening and very complicated. Imagine if let's shift this to something that is very needed as a society now, which is, I would say, encryption. Imagine if you had to do 6 steps in order to encrypt something. You would probably abandon that because you have to do 6 steps every time that you want to make sure you are doing this privately. You're going to question every move. You're going to make sure that every step you take is calculated. That is not really an efficient way of using a currency that you want to have some level of privacy with. I mean, this would be like if you had to think about every step you had to do with cash, which you really don't. I know people say like cash is traceable, but those are like the esoteric schizophrenic losers that sit on the internet and bring up very minute problems that generally do not affect the general public. This is my fundamental problem. Monero is based because it makes the banks weep. I think it's based because it has a principal core function that keeps fungibility and privacy, and that's really about it. I mean, Monero's price is kind of irrelevant to me. It's nice when it rises because then I can see people that are invested in a financial sense, they see their assets are growing and not depreciating versus like, if you hold cash, it's a very depreciating asset. It's not really worth anything. But the thing about Monero is like Bitcoin, where they have to make so many steps in order to be functioning, which is the problem. Or like back to the I guess like the example I'm getting, if you had to do 6 different things in order to make encryption possible, you probably would care less to do it because it becomes a burden. Even if it's repetitive, even if it becomes easy or whatever, that would be an inefficient way to obtain some level of security. Just like if you had your cash, and again, the schizophrenics that are like, you can actually, well, whatever. If you have a $20 bill and you had to like make sure there was no CCTV cameras, and you're looking over your shoulder and you're pulling different identities out of your foreskin, you would just like not even you would not entertain the idea of doing something like this because it becomes an inconvenience factor. People do like convenience, and I agree that it is sad that that has to be a part of it, but it's just a part of it. I mean, Monero is already foreign to the people are just becoming aware of Bitcoin, like regular people that aren't like crypto retards that just want to make $1 million. So I'm talking about average people are just becoming somewhat educated on the idea of what Bitcoin is. I think I could say even a good chunk of people that know what Bitcoin is don't even know what it is. Like they just want their money, just like XRP stands. And XRP stands are a bunch of cocks. So I would say explaining Monero to someone would make it like blow their fucking mind. They would literally cum their pants everywhere, right in front of you, and it would be kind of gay because you guys had eye contact at some point. So like with Monero, like explaining like how Monero's wallet transaction act, like if you just watch Breaking Monero, like on how wallets interact with each other in the blockchain, how transactions are sent out and then validated. I mean, there's so much math in this bitch, and I hate it. But how transactions are like vetted and validated. You can be confident once you see the first confirmation, which can happen in a couple minutes. You can be confident that you will receive that money. Stuff like that is super, super, super important to understand. And I've even had situations where I did not receive a product and I got my Monero back. Obviously, I sent it back to like a different wallet, and then I rotated it just to clean up the correlation or scene. But it cost you like pennies. but Monero, in a sense, is the most efficient fungible coin that we have in society. Most people that are into crypto only care about making the bags. They don't care about functionality. But when the IRS is on your doorstep because you didn't pay your taxes on your $1 million pump.fund gang, like, you know what I mean, stuff like that, you are going to be kind of pissed that you didn't pick something that cared about your privacy. People don't care about privacy until, say it with me, something crazy happens to them or life changing. If those things don't happen, they will not care to change. They will not do anything to change until they are caught. It's like when a criminal gets caught, they will not admit they were wrong or they were hurting anyone until they are faced with maybe like a life sentence or something or whatever. Humans are very interesting. They will be very strong about something until they get caught with their pants caught down, like the pants on the floor, as the boomers would say, or with their balls hanging out, as I would say. And Monero's, I don't think there's going to be a really better option. There's Pirate Chain, which is whatever and kind of gay, and it's just like until Monero does something that's against my core like my core principle of like how it should work and why it works well, I will not be like using another. Regarding mining Monero, don't look for what the best mini PC is. Look for what the best CPU is. Like what CPU gives you the highest hash rate. Well, you can kind of achieve both. Like the best mini PCU for mining Monero will be obviously you wouldn't just pick the first one because a lot of these are affiliate cucks, like where they just show the affiliateness. But I think you can just look at the benchmark. A Ryzen 9 will be efficient, and if you have multiple of them, and you can go through Reddit and then you can vet stuff and ask questions and look at the hash rate and the cost to run it. Mini PCs are just really efficient. They use very little power compared to like bigger desktops. That's what's great about them. And you can rack mount them. You can put them in a server rack. Woo! Say it with me. It's I think it's understandable. I mean, like, look at it. Not bad. Okay, AMD has been renowned as high performance computer graphics. 64 power hash rate at 44,000 hash rate. Wow! Like obviously, building a PC, you can probably cut some of the cost down. Look at that, the 1070. I heard the 1070 was the best GPU, one of the best GPUs NVIDIA ever made. Obviously, you don't pick just the best one, and man, look at this beast. Look at that beast, that epic second gen processor, PCI Gen 4 ready. These are just very expensive. Like I would only get like mini PCs. You might make. My plan is to buy a bunch of PCs that companies are throwing out, remove the screen to save electricity, and just mine Monero on them. Yeah, that'd be good. That's a smart move. And if you just keep linking to a pool, like electricity, and then if you go solar in your country or like whatever state or, then it's free. Besides the cost of the hardware. Now, but if you get the hardware for free, it's even better. But then it's free. Just don't catch your house on fire. Huh. It's definitely easy to get there. To get to mining Monero, you can definitely do it, and you can do it and be efficient at it, where you're making like a decent amount. and you're decentralizing the network at the end of the day, which is the most important. I would say yeah, if you can get a nice server rack and spend the money on decent like power output, that'd be sick.
E-bikes are great.
Huh. Let's see, where did that go? Nope. There we go. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and your help securing the network. That's the most important part. Okay, cool. Now that I have been social media banned on the X, I can stop making fun of people on the internet for the meantime and continue to work on stuff, which would be based and super cool and super awesome. Um, it's been about an hour and about almost an hour, guys. Appreciate y'all stopping by, and I appreciate everyone logging in to talk to me. That is the most important part, is commenting on here so YouTube knows I'm a real person and I enjoy all of their policies. Nothing mean to say about them. I love all social media platforms. They would never ban me or say mean things about me. That is very nice of them. Comment below your favorite type of ice cream. You should think about what your favorite type of ice cream is. If you don't, 500 years of bad luck. Don't forget to walk your snail and argue in the comments for the